Hi guys, I just wanted to take a bit of an opportunity to explain this graph a little bit better. So like I suggested in the last video, we had the same event, so we had the same size bump on the same bike at the same vehicle speed, and we produced these two very different velocity plots. Obviously the grey and yellow representing the stiffer fork, and the blue and the orange representing the softer XCF fork. So we can see, like I said, there's this little crossover point at 4 meters per second. As both forks accelerate up to their peak velocity, we can see that the yellow and grey, they sort of reach the peak at about that 5 meters per second, and then they deaccelerate back down to zero at full displacement. On the other hand, we have the soft fork, which continues to accelerate for another 5 milliseconds, like I said in the last video, and that reaches a peak of about 7 meters per second, or 7.5 meters per second, before it starts to deaccelerate back down to zero. And then we have the point where they reach zero, and then we can see those lines that continue on the underside of the graph. They represent the velocity through the rebound stroke, with all four events ending around somewhere around 101 milliseconds. So this is a very high frequency event, but the major takeaway here is it's the same bump with two different fork configurations producing two very different velocity profiles. This is just a quick screenshot of the vehicle speed hitting the bumps. So those first five represent the stiff fork, and then we've got the softer fork, those five towards the end there. So this is the important graph. This summarises everything basically. So here we've used a simple app just to calculate the area under those velocity plots. We can see here with the stiffer fork, we've produced an area of 7.55 centimetres squared. So we can just substitute that measurement, and we can just say that's the number of units under that trace. So we have significantly less units under this trace. So even though this fork is stiffer, because we're producing less velocity units or meters per second, this fork can actually ride considerably softer. So here we go, here's the soft fork. Like I say, again, we've just used this simple app. We've calculated the units underneath, and we can see that it's 11.55 for the softer fork, so 53% more velocity units. And all of those units are coming beyond peak velocity. So this fork is considerably stiffer, deeper in the stroke than the supposed stiff fork. And this is what pressure balancing is. We can have the same bump and produce significantly different velocity profiles depending on how we tune the damper. Yeah, that's the main takeaway, guys.